Today we are discussing about asymmetry of plasma membrane. Because if you take a plasma membrane, it is made up of a lipid bilayer. We have an external layer and we have an internal layer. This is also a phospholipid layer. This is also a phospholipid layer. But the phospholipids which are located onto the external layer are different which are located into the inner layer. Let's take them. If we will take a outer leaflet of the plasma membrane, outer leaflet of plasma membrane which is facing the extracellular matrix. This leaflet itself is made up of a phospholipids, like we have phosphatidyl choline and we have sphingolipids. Taking the internal layer or inner leaflet, this inner leaflet, it is made up of phosphatidyl serine and phosphatidyl ethanolamine. So if we will take a composition or the nature of the lipid bilayer, the outer leaflet is made up of phosphatidyl choline and sphingolipid, whereas inner leaflet is made up of phosphatidyl serine and phosphatidyl ethanolamine. Now taking these phospholipids, the external layer is having one type of phospholipids and the internal leaflet is having another type of phospholipids, which makes it an asymmetrical membrane. So outer leaflet in a plasma membrane, that is outer layer and inner layer are two different layers, because the reason is they are made up of two different types of the phospholipids. This creates asymmetry in a plasma membrane. Second thing we have on this inner side, we have a presence of cytoplasm. So cytoplasmic side we have phosphatidyl serine and phosphatidyl ethanolamine, whereas extracellular matrix on this side we have a presence of phosphatidyl choline and sphingolipid. The second thing on which the plasma membrane shows the asymmetry is the presence of carbohydrate. Is a presence of carbohydrate. I told you in my previous lecture that there is a fraction of carbohydrate, very less. Next thing we have is a presence of carbohydrate. The carbohydrate we have in a fraction, very small quantity, that's 5%. But this carbohydrate, it is present only onto the external layer. It is associated with the lipids, so it is making a glycolipid. Say this is a glycolipid here. But it is associated only with the external layer. Internal layer do not have a carbohydrate. So carbohydrate is present only to the external layer. Internal layer do not have a carbohydrate, which also creates the asymmetry in a plasma membrane. Now we have one more things which are very important to discuss about the asymmetry. That is, we have certain substances which are present in an inner leaflet, and those substances are responsible for cellular signaling, the signaling which takes place within a cell. We will see the cellular signaling in the next chapter, but little bit about here in an asymmetry, how this asymmetry helps us in a cellular signaling. We will study it in the next point. The next point we have this asymmetry in a plasma membrane, asymmetry in a plasma membrane, is responsible for intracellular signaling response. ये जो asymmetry plasma membrane के अंदर है, is also responsible for इंट्रासेलुलर सिग्नलिंग रिस्पॉन्स। एक्चुअली हमारे पास जो इनर लीफलेट है, मैंने आपको बताया था कि इनर लीफलेट के अंदर जो हमारे पास एक इम्पॉर्टेंट फास्फोलिपिड है, दैट इज नोन एज phosphatidylserine. This phosphatidylserine is a negatively charged phospholipid which is present only in the inner leaflet. This phosphatidylserine, it activates various kinases. It activates enzymes that are known as kinases, especially the kinase which is activated by this phosphatidylserine, that is a protein kinase C. That's a protein kinase C. We have a short form is a PKC. This is a protein kinase C, which is mainly activated by the phosphatidylserine. This protein kinase C, it is the important component of one of the cycle. We call that as a MAPK cycle. Now, what this MAPK means? This MAPK means is a mitogenic. It's a mitogenic activating protein kinase. See why I am recapitulating the point. In the inner membrane, we have only the presence of phospholipid. The very important phospholipid is the phosphatidylserine, which activates the various kinases. But in the kinase, the most important one we have is the protein kinase C. That's a PKC, which is activated here, which is an important component of one of the cycle, which is mainly responsible for cell signaling, is a MAPK. That is a mitogenic activating protein kinase. If anybody asks you, we have to discuss it in a later chapter. But what mitogenic activating protein kinase actually, what it consists of? It is having actually a chain of enzymes. It is consisting of chain of enzymes. बिल्कुल एक chain of enzymes है, which receive the cell signal, which are present in the cytoplasm. So chain of enzymes in the cytosol, which receive the signal from the receptor of cell and transfer it to DNA of the nucleus or DNA of the cell. अगर आपको कोई बताएगा है क्या असल में ये mitogenic activating protein kinase, nothing. It's a chain of enzymes in the cytosol which receive the signal. See, for instance, if this is a plasma membrane here, roughly I am making. This plasma membrane is having a receptor locate here. Say this is a receptor here. Now this receptor is receiving the signal. Now from the receptor there are a chain of enzymes. Now this chain of enzymes is receiving this signal. Now this signal is transmitted to the DNA. Now this DNA gets activated. Now it is showing its action. It gets expressed in the form of the proteins with the process of the translation, and these proteins now show the response to that signal which comes from the external environment. The very important thing is what MAPK means is a mitogenic activating protein kinase. Say for if this cell had to go for the division, now these proteins get secreted, which may be enzymes or the proteins. Now they will activate the cell to go for the division. So this is known as a mitogenic activating protein kinase. Chain of the enzymes in the cytosol which receive the signal from the receptor of the cell and transfer it to the DNA of the cell. So the DNA gets activated to synthesize the proteins. This protein gets synthesized by the ribosome, but the message comes in the form of the messenger RNA that comes from the DNA. So that protein gets synthesized, so this cell shows response to the signal. This one thing which is especially activated by the phosphatidylserine. Second thing we have, the very important thing, that is in the plasma membrane, we have one of the substance located there is in a minor quantity, minor substance is there. So in a plasma membrane, but into the inner leaflet. Inner leaflet, that means internal layer, it is having one of the substance located in a minor quantity. Minor, you know, it's a very small quantity. That is known as PIP2. That is phospholipid. phosphoinositol 4,5-bisphosphate. This is one of the substance which is present in an inner leaflet and in a minor quantity. Say for instance, if we are making here a plasma membrane, say this is a plasma membrane, this substance will locate in an inner leaflet. Say this is an inner leaflet here. This is substance located here, we call it PIP2, and this is a phosphoinositol 4,5-bisphosphate. Now this phosphoinositol bisphosphate or 4,5-bisphosphate, the enzyme is present also into the internal layer of this one. The enzyme we have here, that enzyme we call it PLC beta. This PLC means phospholipase C beta. This is the enzyme. If this enzyme gets activated, this enzyme will act upon the PIP2. When it acts upon the PIP2, what happens? This PIP2 is broken down. If we have a PIP2 and an enzyme is acting upon it, it is broken down into two products. One we have the DAG, that is diacylglycerol, and second one we have IP3, that is inositol triphosphate. Especially the inositol triphosphate, we have here inositol 1,4,5 triphosphate, and this we have is a diacylglycerol. So these are the two products which are formed from P1, P2. With the help of the enzyme is PLC beta. It's acting upon it. When it gets activated, it acts upon it. It is broken down into two products. DAG, it remains associated with the plasma membrane, inner leaflet. DAG, it remains associated or it remains attached with the inner leaflet. Whereas this IP3, it comes into the cytosol because it is a small polar molecule. ये बहुत छोटा होता है, small होता है और polar होता है. तो इन दो चीजों की वजह से it comes into the cytosol. It loves to be with the water, so it comes into the cytosol. This IP3, इसका काम क्या है? This IP3 will act upon the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. See, if I am making here a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, say it is a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and it's having a gated channel, IP3 gated channel, और ये IP3 gated channel जो है ये ओपन हो जाते हैं due to the IP3. जब IP3 आ गया साइटोसॉल में, it comes and binds with the IP3 gated channel which is present in a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now this smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it will release the calcium into the cytoplasm. So many calcium ions gets released here. So if you know about the SER, इसके दो functions हैं, आपने पढ़े होंगे. One is it is helping in a lipid formation, ये लिपिड बनने में हेल्प करता है. दूसरी बात है it is storing calcium, ये calcium store करने में भी हेल्प करता है. So calcium is stored here. IP3 is present in the cytosol. Now IP3 comes and it binds to the IP3 gated channel which is present in a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and this channel becomes open. Calcium is released into the environment. Now if we take here what happens actually. So अगर हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे एक्चुअल में होता क्या है, एक नटशेल में हम बनाएंगे इसको, बिल्कुल होता क्या है. तो हम ये बताएंगे जो हमारे पास DAG है, इट विल सिट विद द प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन, लेकिन IP3 जो है it will act upon the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and that smooth endoplasmic reticulum will release the calcium. अब आप याद रखेंगे, एक तो हमारे पास DAG है और दूसरे हमारे पास कैल्शियम आयंस है और तीसरा हमारे पास है phosphatidylserine. Now these three together, these calcium ions and the DAG, these together will activate the phosphoprotein kinase C. They will activate the protein kinase C. और ये protein kinase C करेगा क्या? This protein kinase C, it will help in a phosphorylation of phosphorylation of specific serine oblique threonine काइनेस। ये बिल्कुल इन दो की फास्फोराइलेशन कराएगा, दैट मीन्स स्पेसिफिक सेरीन एंड थ्रियोनिन काइनेस की फास्फोराइलेशन कराएगा। अगर हम देखेंगे सेरीन थ्रियोनिन काइनेस को, एक्चुअली वी हैव अ सेरीन थ्रियोनिन काइनेस, बिल्कुल ये एक सिग्नल ट्रांसड्यूसर है, इट इज अ सिग्नल ट्रांसड्यूसर, बिल्कुल एक सिग्नल ट्रांसड्यूसर है ये। तो अगर हम देखेंगे इट्स डोमेन, इट्स साइटोसोलिक डोमेन, अगर इस साइटोप्लाज्म साइड में हम देखेंगे साइटोसोलिक डोमेन, जैसे प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन इसका साइटोसोलिक डोमेन जो है, इट इज हैविंग द रेजोनेंस ऑफ दिस serine and threonine, and when it gets phosphorylate it activate this whole protein, ये प्रोटीन जो है पूरा एक्टिवेट हो जाता है, so that the signal comes into the cell. We see it in a detail in a cell signal, लेकिन यहाँ पे हमने थोड़ा सा कंसेप्ट दिया। एक तो आप याद रखेंगे कि इनर लीफलेट जो है इसके अंदर हमारे पास जो फॉस्फेटिडाइलसिरीन है, इट्स हेल्पिंग इन एक्टिवेशन ऑफ द protein kinase C, but how this activation actually takes place, that is we have a PIP2 present in a very minor point in an inner leaflet. This PIP2 is broken down by the PLC beta, that is a phospholipase C beta. It's an enzyme which gets activated, and this activation leads to the breaking down of the PIP2 into DAG and IP3. DAG is a diacylglycerol which is attached with the plasma membrane, but IP3 activates the SCR. That is actually the IP3 gated chain which is present on SCR to release the calcium. Calcium, phosphatidylserine, and the DAG activates actually the protein kinase C, which actually leads to the phosphorylation of specific serine threonine residues, which are or kinase, which are present onto the cytosolic domain of the protein. That is what we call that as serine threonine kinase. And actually, it's helping in a cell signaling. We'll see it in the next chapter, that will be cell signaling. One more thing we have very important, that's about the scramblase. One more we have. The third one we have is a scramblase. Scramblase is actually the enzyme, okay, मैंने आपको बताया था, which maintains asymmetry in a plasma membrane. Asymmetry in a plasma membrane. ये भी मैंने आपको बताया था कि प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन के अंदर ये एसिमेट्री को जो है मेंटेन करके रखता है. सो इट इज हेल्पिंग इन द मूवमेंट ऑफ phospholipids from inner leaflet to outer and outer to the inner leaflet, so as to maintain the asymmetry of the plasma membrane. और एक चीज मैंने आपको बताई scramblase की, it helps in a process of apoptosis. Apoptosis is a programmed cell death, मैंने आपको बताया भी था. Apoptosis में क्या करता है scramblase? Scramblase helps in a movement of, it helps in a movement of phosphatidylserine. It helps in a movement of phosphatidylserine from inner leaflet to outer leaflet. ये बिल्कुल मूवमेंट कराता है phosphatidylserine को. See, this is a phosphatidylserine is negatively charged, but it is showing the movement on this side. So this is now the phosphatidylserine. So it becomes negatively charged. This negatively charged is a signal. This negative charge is a signal to macrophage. ये सिग्नल बन जाती है macrophages को to show the process of phagocytosis. So उससे क्या होता है? उससे इस सेल को जो है ईट कर देते हैं. Negative signal, negative sign is a signal to macrophage to show the process of phagocytosis. But you have to keep in mind this scramblase, it deactivates philipases. ये philipases को deactivate करता है. That means philipases help in the movement of the phospholipids from non-cytosolic phase to the cytosolic phase. That means they are helping in the movement of phosphatidylserine and the phosphatidylethanol amine from external leaflet to inner leaflet. But this movement is now stopped, because if this phosphatidylcholine is located here, phosphatidylserine is located here, now Philippase will take it back into the inner leaflet so as to prevent it from the negative charge. But what happened? The scramblase deactivates Philippases and the negative charge remains here. And what happened? The macrophage, they detect it and they envelop it by the process of phagocytosis. This is scramblase, which is also performing the function of function of apoptosis by deactivating the enzyme that is known as Philippase. This is all about the today's lecture. We will tomorrow discuss about the lipid diets.